All right, this is the Evade 1.5 from Alpha 19er. This is the 2024 latest edition, which is a lot different than the two previous editions I've reviewed in the past, both the Evade 1.5 Lite and the Evade 1.5 Full. So those were the only real difference between those two bags was the laptop section. Same general thickness as this one, except that we ate into the main compartment to add a laptop section. This one retains that outdoor size, outside dimensions of the original bags, but with just in my opinion, these are my words, a more refined layout compared to the original edition, which I don't have anymore because I kind of grew out of it and went to different designs, and so it just didn't appeal to me, so I moved on. But this one is a lot different. This one's a little bit more refined, I would say, because after I reviewed the Evade 1.5s, I had a Whitley, which is a very nice bag as well. And if you ask me, this is sort of a collusion, a combination, an evolution from the Evade through the Whitley into this. It's kind of combines some of my favorite aspects of the Whitley, but makes it more in the Evade layout because it has just had more of a sleeker look compared to the original. Now, the biggest differentiator for me that makes this one more of a standout is these side bottle pockets, or more like we've had in different versions. They're more streamlined, and the reason this one's kind of dented in is because I've had this water bottle in there for several days. Now, just a clean look of a bag, but it's all the Evade features that you know and love, but it's slightly different. We'll walk through those differences and highlight some. Now, outside of the bag has two compartments in the front, and then we access a laptop area in the back. There's no fulls and lights anymore, it's one. Came out with a whole host of different colors. This is Ranger Green. They had an OD Green, which looks similar, but was obviously a little different. They have some VX42 builds. They had a Twill, which, so they basically had a whole gamut of different designs, which are really cool. I wanted to check this one out, so a big thanks to Alpha 19er for sending this one out for test and evaluation. In terms of colors, and I'm not going to do too much color grading on this video, and I realize the studio lights make it kind of look kind of weird and maybe not full green from your perspective, so I will post some photos over here of these two packs outdoors so you can kind of see in some different lighting what it is. Definitely more green. The video might show it maybe looks a little more grayish than it is, but it's definitely a Ranger Green. This is my beloved Radio Ruck from Go Ruck, also in Ranger Green. This is 1000 bead, but side by side, virtually identical in color, maybe a slightly more green color in the Ranger Green from Go Ruck, but it's a different material. But anyway, both great colors, and I do love this color a lot. I like the black with the green. It just looks super cool. Now, the harness system is mostly identical from what I could tell to the original. They probably made some small changes, the back panel, etc. You still have a nice Velcro handle in there, and also a luggage pass-through. You could use it that way as well. And a little piece of Velcro in there that keeps this thing sort of cinched down or secured, not kind of flopping around. Now, there's no other secret pockets. There's no way to get any sort of hip belt in there. So just think that we do have load lifters with some strap keepers, which just makes this one way better than most bags in this category, because if you had load lifters, a lot of times you have straps flying all over, so the fact they give you everything sort of cinched down and not flying around is just super cool. We have those same strap keepers down here, which again, once you dial this sucker into way you want to travel with it, you just set it and forget it, and now it's super comfortable on your merry way. Very comfortable shoulder straps, I would say. Now, that's it. Okay, and we do have a sternum strap, which is really nice. They include those in all those their designs, and it's the stretchy version, which I do like for this kind of bag, as you're going to travel with it. Maybe, probably not ruck with it, but you could. Now, again, two bottle pockets. they just cinch in and you really can't see them. There is outside attachment points. You'll see one right here, one on the corresponding other side. On the front, you'll see two right here, two on the bottom, or two in the lower section, and then one or two on the bottom. What are those for? Well, previous editions came with, and this one still does, this little bungee cord system that you can kind of route through all these, and then you could put a jacket in there, some lighter object if that's your style and you like that. Cool. It's just cool that they include all of this so you can customize the Evade and make it however you want. There's some other accessories that come with it. Also, it came with compression straps. Now these compression straps, you think a sternum strap is hard to install on GoRock, which of course I did a video on that. You can go watch this. But this one is a little different, but these are compression straps that you can install through these little loops on the front and the back, and then you'll have the ability to carry a tripod or some taller object in there, or just compress this bag in more. I don't plan to install those. I tried for a little bit, got frustrated, and took them off. So I'm not going to put those on there. Now, one other accessory that I do think is something you might want to consider when you place your order for the Evade is this beaver tail. Now this beaver tail, color matched, this one's in Ranger Green. It does clip on everywhere, and they include these two little buckle attachments that go right through the loops on the handle. Now the handle is super cool, and I do like it. It's definitely a more substantial. It's the webbing that they've kind of sewn over and it just sticks up. It's a great handle, always there, a lot of dimension to it. It's more mid-mounted than I would kind of prefer. If I was going to use this one for work, I kind of need it a little more further back, but it is balanced and it's in the middle of the bag. But along the other side, along this attachment point, they left you three little areas. You can put some carabiners in there, or these Velcro straps. Now these Velcro straps, you'll feed them through there, and you can leave these on all the time. Me, because I don't plan to use, so that's how it goes. That, more about what you do with that in a second. I don't plan to keep these installed all the time because I don't think the beaver tail is something I'm going to use a lot. I do like to have the capability, say you're going on a Disney World trip and you wanted the ability to carry some extra stuff. Maybe you're going to be a cyclist, commuter, and you want to put somewhere for your helmet. Perfect for that. But with these installed, not terribly intrusive, but I just like the cleaner look of this design bag, compared to the previous one. So I'm going to keep it like this going forward. So the other end, the rest of this beaver design is got these little clips that you can kind of put through here. Goes on pretty easily. Just loop it through all these loops that you could either use the shock cord that comes with it, or you can use this beaver tail, again, sold separately. Now, once you get all four of the bottom clips in there, we basically have a little basket at the bottom for whatever, so it's not going to fall out because you got bottom and side, so it creates this little kind of thing in the bottom. And then we'll just clip these in up top, and you can see without things cinched in, just have a lot of room. Now it is gusseted, right? So it definitely expands to, carry a bigger, bulkier item. We'll put something here in a second. So in fact, let's just do that right now. Here is just a standard field pocket, GR1 size, so not terribly large, but you can put that in there, and we'll expand this sucker out, and then we will cinch in the sides. Actually, let's do it this way so I can see a little bit more. So there you go. All cinched in, just doing a little cord keeper maintenance. So this thing is not super dangly all over the place. Just roll these things over, and then we will wrap this sucker in there, and then boom. So there you go. Again, just a GR1 sized field pocket. So once you get your bicycle helmet fit in there, you got these boop. get it out, put it on, and then cinch this thing up for in transit. Then when you're getting back to it, clip it back in there, heading into the office, want your helmet out of the way, boom, and there you go. So again, it's not for everybody. It doesn't come with it, so you'd have to buy it separately. But I do like the beaver tail. And this one, you know, because it expands, most of them are just pretty simple, but this one is really nice. So anyway, let's take this beaver tail off, get back to some of the features, standard features of this bag. All right, so there we go. It is, oh, it's off. It's off. Back to it. All right. So we talked about the back, talked about the side. Bottles, you know, any of your bigger bottles are definitely going to fit in there, and it just doesn't care. Take them out, and this pocket just has a little bit of elastic in there, and it's gusset in the back, so it just compresses down. Now, on the front of the bag, we have some new features, which I really do like, that make it kind of a standout. The number one thing that I recognized on this was there's a little additional pocket on the bottom, which, and I got this thing stuffed out, so, but it is pretty cool. Standard pocket goes along the bottom, and it's protected by this little rain flap, and if you didn't know it was there, it's kind of a hidden pocket. So you can kind of just, in fact, you may not even have seen that. But it is a nice little bottom pocket, maybe put some charging peripherals, some things, some charging bricks, some things you're not gonna maybe access on the go immediately. But we right down in there. Now, before I get into this pocket, which is super cool, there is a top pocket, top drop-in, with this very soft material on the inside, which is nice. It definitely protects your phone, fits the largest of all of the cell phones, and it just keeps it super comfy. Most of the other top pockets, say GoRuck, for example, they kind of access here and they go along the top of the bag, and it's just a different method. This one is more in the front. And one thing I really remember about the first editions, or at least the Evade 1.5s that I looked at, was this pocket was just easy to get to all the time when it's sitting next to you. It's just super cool. Now, it does drop into the area of this pocket, which before you could see the inside of that pocket. Not anymore. As we get into this section of the bag and we drop things open, you can see some color differences. And what's cool is the previous edition, this internal pocket kind of flopped down in front of this, and it's sort of, you just kind of saw it. But now it's behind, which I think is a much better design. We have another pocket which goes to about here, which is nice. Zip. We have a attachment point for whatever you'd like. We have a key ring, which you can remove. It's on a little Velcro tab. You don't like it, get rid of it. Otherwise, nice little easy place for your keys, which I think is a pretty cool design. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep mine tucked inside this pocket. Two drop-in pockets and a loop panel. All right, loop panel. You can use any of the existing attachments that you might have from your other ones. This one didn't come with it. One small negative, but you know, put your favorite patches in there. You know, do whatever you want. Just some, or put some admin in there. Cool. This pocket is perfect for an iPad, and it does go full depth behind this pocket. So there you go. Keep your iPad in there in the front, and you're off to the races with multiple tech solutions. So nice. Now this, what is this? Well, it's for a magnet patch. No, it didn't come with a magnet, or it didn't come with a loop panel on the front of it like you see here. This is a magnet patch, which they also sell, and or you can get individually from other places. But there's a little bit of Velcro here that keeps the magnet panel inside. So you could just go about your daily business, leave it in there, and whenever you want, attach your patch to it. This thing keeps that thing from moving around. Otherwise, these have a tendency to kind of, you know, slide around, and just it doesn't do that now because this thing is in this little pocket, which is nice. I like that feature. Now this magnet patch, you might love it. This does give you the ability to put patches in places where you may not have a loop panel, and then you could remove it when you didn't want it, which is nice. But the negative side to this is that when this thing is all just sitting here, you drop this thing in somewhere and it's easy for this thing to just slide off. So that's one just thing to be careful of if you are going to go this route, is you might lose one of those patches, which I did, which is kind of a bummer. But so just be careful with it if that's the way you're going to roll. I'll probably keep mine right there. So yeah, loop pockets, zip pocket, big dump area in the bottom for whatever you wanted, and it's just nice. This is a work from bag, work out of it. So you can kind of set this next to you. You can have, you know, some hard drives, some pens and pencils in here. You could put another admin panel in here. Just kind of sit there at work out your stuff, and then put it back in there. Great travel bag, actually, and I think it's more better for the travel case, just because, so it's a little big. This main compartment is super big, as you'll see what's in there right now when we get to that section. So, but before we get to the main event, let's get to this laptop area, which again, sort of like it's a full now, but it's not really a full. This pocket is different than the previous editions. The full edition had multiple layers of tech, different pockets and some stuff in there. This is, and of course, this is the 13-inch MacBook. And I'll put the, you know, which ones will fit here, but basically I think your 16-inch should really fit. This pocket is slightly elevated, as you'll see in the inside, is slightly elevated. It's not lined with any of that soft material, not a big deal, but it is super cool, and that's pretty much it. There's no other, it's one big pocket. There's no second layer in here. There's no bladder attachment point. There's none of that. This is for everyday carry and travel. So there you go. Let's drop this laptop in there. See, it didn't even hit the table because it's elevated. Now to the main event. All right, so let's dive into this. It is a very nice clamshell. It goes all the way around to the bottom. Super cool. Just like the previous editions, as we get into this, we have two pockets. We have one bottom mesh. There's like little tiny sewn in gussets, which is cool. It just means you can expand that pocket and not be too concerned. You'll be able to fit a lot of stuff in there. And we have a top pocket, which is really cool. No organization in there. We do have a D-ring in the top for you to put some stuff on there, if that's the way you want to roll. Oops, there's my phone in there. Almost fell out. But we do, again, little gussets sewn into here. This is what good bag makers do. They don't just sew, they just little tiny details in here. So this is what they did, a little ripstop material on the inside, but it's got some gussets in here and in the mesh, so you can put bulky items and it's not gonna impede on the front part of the bag. So there you go. Now the rest of this, we have two packing cubes. We got a 10, we got an 8 from, this one's the Mystery Ranch. None of these are for Mystery Ranch. This is from GoRuck. This one is the Evergoods, and then we have another GoRuck field pocket on the top. This is actually the small one, the little Echo size, just to kind of fill out the top of the bag. More about that here in a second. So let's get these big packing cubes out of the way, and you can see the inside of this bag is pretty simple. Now there is some attachment points here, so you can get some different accessories, loop them in there. That'd be kind of cool. And you can see here at the very bottom, elevated about an inch and a half from the bottom, so that's why it's going to protect your laptop in this back area, which is really nice. There's an additional little not stretchy, but little pocket in here. You could put another tech solution in there. Maybe that's where you drop your tablet, who knows, but it's nice. Now there is a webbing strip across the top, so that's where you could Molly webbing on this Echo field pocket or a regular size field pocket. You could loop that sucker into the top of the bag, and then you'd have additional storage up there that would be secure at the top of the bag and it wouldn't slide down. Super cool. There's also these attachment points, so you can, you know, put some more stuff in there. It is, you can see the stretch on the side there. Where's this going? Oh yeah, look at that. So one thing I didn't really notice before is that this pocket, you can just look at the construction of this thing. If you wanted to access more of this bag, there is this basically a Velcro area here And now I'm getting into the main part of the bag. So now the zipper kind of gets you into the main bag. So you can slightly customize this sucker if you wanted to. I don't really think that's the way he intended it to be, but there's some ways that you could maybe roll this whole flap down. Now you can access the main part of the bag. There's really nowhere for this flap to go, so I really don't think that's probably a very good idea. I would just leave this Velcro attached, keep things separate, but in an emergency, if you needed to get in there, you could. So let's get this thing back situated. All right, not recommended to mess that Velcro. Just leave it the way it is. There's really no need that I can think of that would be convenient. I think it's best the way it is, where you have the laptop area and then you have this whole thing, and really no need to get from that zipper in here, but if you needed to, you could. So there you go. Let's pack this sucker up, give you some final thoughts on the Evade 1.5. So here we are. Evade 1.5 2024 edition. And there is just a ton that they did to make this better than the previous Evades. I like the different material choices they have. I think if you don't like 500D Ranger Green, that you're gonna find a nice classic black in some of the other colors. And so I'm not really sure their stocking plan, but go check them out. I know they're releasing them in stages, and you might find one that is perfect for you. This one, Ranger Green, is a nice little color combo. Nice G.I. Joe patch. Super versatile. Ballistic bottom. Totally didn't even say that yet. Black ballistic bottom. There you go. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. More videos coming out on different bags. We're kind of all over the place with different designs, ones you wanted to see. But this is the Alpha 1/9er Evade 1.5. Now it's time to go outside. See ya. Recording. It says it's recording. What are you doing? I'm recording. It's recording. Focus. And it darkens up. That's what I wanted.